If you just bought a car and you're now regretting it, or if you just want to know how to protect yourself ahead of your next vehicle purchase, we're going to lay it all out for you today. And I won't keep you in suspense. The circumstances under which you can cancel a vehicle purchase contract are extremely limited. I'm not saying never, because there are a few instances where you can cancel a deal. But even if you have already signed on the dotted line, we're going to give you some tips that could help unwind what's already done. One quick disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer, and I do not play one on TV.
Here I was finally proud of you.
Carzuka is an educational resource for new car buyers. What I am is an automotive retail marketer certified by the Ontario Motor Vehicle Industry Council, and I have worked for a decade in dealerships of all sizes. So here in Ontario, and most of Canada and the US, once you sign a purchase agreement for a vehicle, it's considered legally binding and final. A dealer does not have to cancel a contract simply because you changed your mind. In fact, the Motor Vehicle Dealers Act in Ontario, which governs all vehicle purchases, is explicitly exempt from the 10-day cooling off period allowed under the Consumer Protection Act. That means while you and I have 10 days to legally cancel everything from a gym membership to a vacation timeshare, we're out of luck when it comes to a vehicle purchase, and that includes cars, motorcycles, and boats. Think about that. You can cancel a $30 a month gym membership, but you have very little recourse when spending $60,000 on a car. What could possibly be the reason for that? Well, you can thank car dealers. They've successfully argued that if customers were allowed a window of time to cancel a vehicle purchase, it would open the door to several costly problems. First, there's the depreciation of the vehicle itself if it's already been delivered. There are also costs associated with unwinding a finance contract. What if your trade-in vehicle has already been sent off to auction? And what if the market value of the vehicle you purchased were to change in the days between your purchase and your cancellation? Now, it's very easy for us as consumers to write all that off as simply the dealership's cost of doing business. But we know by now that those potential costs would eventually be put right back on consumers. Now, it sounds like I'm making an argument for the dealerships. No, not a chance.
I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
I've seen dozens of customers come back to a dealership looking to cancel a purchase for whatever reason. The smart sales managers will try to help the customer by addressing their concerns. For example, if there's an issue with the type of vehicle, a sales manager will do their best to move the customer into a different model. In that scenario, the vehicle you already bought would be appraised at the current market value, and whatever equity or loss incurred by trading it in will be moved into the next vehicle. If you're currently in a lease, then there may be penalties that you'll have to pay out as well. In a scenario where you've signed the paperwork but the vehicle has not been delivered yet, here's our advice. Do not go into the dealership angry and waving your hands. We're all human beings, and people are far more likely to help you when they are met with kindness. I had a conversation recently with a former colleague. He's a general sales manager at a major dealership in the Toronto area who's been in the industry for more than 30 years. I asked him about these scenarios. He said the biggest mistake that customers make when they're unhappy with a purchase is coming into the dealership hot, making accusations and threats. He says it's much easier for him and his sales team to try to find a solution if the customer comes in and just sits down and says, "I need your help with a problem."
Help me help you.
Now again, if you have not taken delivery of the vehicle and you calmly explain your problem, the good dealerships may be willing to return your deposit and maybe request a 5-star Google review in return. But then there are the dealers who insist that they must come out of the interaction with some type of profit. So they will either keep your deposit or hold it until the vehicle in question is sold to someone else. You see, the vague nature of the legislation involved means that a dealer could argue that they're keeping some or all of the deposit as damages for you breaching the contract that you signed, as well as taking up the time invested by their staff. Here's where I have a problem. If a consumer walks into a dealership to make a purchase, eyes wide open, where all the costs and options are laid out clear as day, I'd tell that car buyer to put on their big boy pants and understand that they signed a legally binding agreement and there are consequences for changing your mind. However, the same laws and governing bodies that allow dealers to be exempt from any type of cooling off period have also failed to stop dealerships from using aggressive sales tactics or hiding the true cost of a vehicle purchase by framing it as a monthly payment or by requiring the purchase of add-on products with the sale of a car. I could go on for days. So, when you consider the reasonable potential that something about a vehicle purchase may not have been perfectly clear or properly disclosed, that returning customer may have a valid argument. And there is the magic word, disclosure. This is where we find those limited exceptions when trying to cancel a vehicle sales contract. If a dealership fails to disclose certain material facts that could have influenced your purchase decision, there may be legal remedies that could allow you to either unwind the sale or seek financial damages. Those material facts have to do with the vehicle's history and condition. They include whether the vehicle was used as a previous daily rental, a taxi, or as a police vehicle. Whether the vehicle was previously branded, meaning it was labeled as salvaged, rebuilt, or deemed irreparable. If the odometer reading was not accurately stated or the mileage of the vehicle cannot be determined. Or if the odometer had been replaced. In these limited circumstances, you have 90 days from the date of delivery to seek what's called a statutory rescission. That's essentially an unwinding of the sales contract.
Are you returning this?
Yes, we are. It unfortunately is a piece of crap.
Now, what if the vehicle has other problems, such as undisclosed accident repairs, frame damage, or flood damage? In those instances, you want to report your issue to your local regulatory body. Here in Ontario, that's OMVIC. There may be remedies available to you under consumer protection legislation, the OMVIC complaints process, and the Dealer Compensation Fund, but it's all depending on the individual facts. All the remedies that I've just described will unfortunately apply mostly to used vehicles, and there will be variations in your province or state, which prompts a big question when it comes to any vehicle purchase. In instances where a customer signs a purchase agreement but the vehicle has not been delivered as yet, why can there not be a mandatory 2-day cooling off period that would allow you to cancel the deal if something doesn't feel right? Well, here in Ontario, regulators have tried to make that happen. In 2024, the Ontario Auditor General issued a report calling for a mandatory 2-day cooling off period for vehicle purchase agreements. However, associations representing dealers across the province went at the government hard, and they ultimately got them to drop that proposal, leaving consumers out in the cold. So, regardless of where you live, how can you protect yourself while making a vehicle purchase given the finality of a vehicle contract? First, remember that there's no cooling off period. And if you're going to walk into a dealership on a Saturday morning to try and bang out a car purchase just because that happens to be the day you have off, you may be headed for some trouble. We spell out the problems with the one-day purchase approach in our first-time car buyer's guide. We highly recommend that you watch that video before walking into any dealership. It's linked in the description. Next, if a dealer tells you that your deposit is fully refundable, get that in writing. If you just hand over your credit card for a deposit without a clear, written, and signed verification that it is refundable, you're setting yourself up for some headaches. You also want to carefully consider each part of your vehicle purchase. Does the vehicle you're choosing answer all of your needs? Did you take it on a proper test drive? Did you negotiate the value of your trade-in separately from the price of the new car? Did you consider the total cost of each add-on product rather than letting the finance office sell it to you as a slight increase to your monthly payment? Again, our first-time buyer's guide will truly help you, as will Carzuka.ca, where you can learn about each step of your car buying journey. We have a boatload of free resources there, and if you require some added support, you can also book a 50-minute consultation with me or any one of our automotive retail experts to answer your individual questions. Just go to Carzuka.ca and click Ask Carzuka. Now, if you're watching this video the day after signing a deal, please don't panic. If the vehicle has not been delivered yet, contact the sales manager at the dealership as soon as possible. Calmly and honestly tell them what your problems are. With that approach, they will be far more willing to work with you.
Help me help you.
Lastly, please tell us where you stand on allowing consumers a 2-day cooling off period after signing a car purchase agreement. Share your opinion in the comments, and please give us a like and subscribe so we can reach more car buyers just like you. My name is Thomas. This is Carzuka. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride.